Hello and welcome to our little introduction on our Upward Bound Integrated Math 2 class. I just wanted to give this video as a quick little kind of read through the syllabus and kind of, maybe shine a little bit more light on how things are going to go. So hopefully this helps. I mean, if it doesn't, it doesn't. But, most of the time, hearing things is a little bit better than reading things, or maybe hear it as you read it. So maybe read through your syllabus with me. So as we know, we've all been in class at this point, but if not, then not a real big understanding as to why you're watching this. But if you're in this class, good. If you're not, I guess you can learn how this class runs. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now you'll notice here my contact information's on here. I have a Google Classroom code. I'm probably just going to not really deal with that. I'm going to be putting all these videos and kind of running this class through my YouTube channel, which is YouTube Corey Gall. There's two of those when you get there. You want the one that has the picture of the trees with my wife and I in the background. Or, sorry, how about the picture of my wife and I with the trees in the background? This background art might be a little bit different, but if you go to the About, this will show up when you Google it, just the one that says that I'm a math teacher. The other one is me. It's my personal one. There's some lifting videos on there and some things like that. So just some of my other hobbies. But so yeah, I don't really worry about the Google Classroom code. I'll be kind of dealing with the YouTube video side of it. The issue with the Google Classroom is that it's a North Bend High School Google Classroom, and I know that not everybody's a North Bend High School student, so it would need to have you a North Bend High School student, so that's just a big hurdle that I don't want to get into. So we'll just use YouTube videos, and I mean, it's the same thing. That's all I use Google Classroom for, is somewhere to put not necessarily YouTube videos, but just somewhere to put videos, and YouTube works for that as well, so we're going to use it that way. So I know this says Integrated Math 1, this is Integrated Math 2, but it's the second course in a multi-part Algebra 1 sequence majorly. If you've heard of the part sequence thing, this is mainly going to be like an Algebra 1 Part 2 course. So it's going to be an abbreviated course, though, because we only have 10 hours to work with, but we're going to cover topics from mainly from Algebra 1, some advanced kind of secondary topics from Algebra 1, and then we'll mix in some geometry aspects in there as well, kind of rounding out that integrated idea. So the topics covered, you can check that out if you want to. It's probably more for me than it is for you. And then you'll notice that each day is going to start with a mastery challenge. And this will be, we're going to talk about this quite a bit more as we go, but every day we'll start with a mastery challenge over the previous class day's material, and these will be graded things. So, it's kind of like a warm-up, but it's like a graded warm-up, and it's kind of the only thing that I really grade other than the pre and the post test. The program, you probably notice, it requires that all the classes have a pre and a post test. So, that's what I'm covering on day 1 and day 10. But all these other days have these mastery challenges, which will really factor into your grade. So, so be ready for that. Just to go over kind of my classroom expectations, I do expect everybody to come to class ready and on time, ready to learn. I expect everybody to ask for help when needed and when it's appropriate. I mean, when we're taking a test, it's probably not okay to ask for help. Hey, what's the answer to number 5? That's probably a bad idea. So the next one, respect rule, respect the rights and property of others. The offer rule, offer to help other students when it's appropriate. And then the responsibility rule, strive to act responsibly at all times. I know we can't always act responsibly, but we can really try to do that as much as possible. So keep that stuff in mind. I do think it's important. As far as the grading in this class goes, I don't really want to start with this, with this table here. I'm going to get to that in just a second. But kind of want to look at what we're going to be seeing as far as how this class is going to run. So the main thing that I have planned is I have workbooks for each and every student, and obviously if you're watching this, you probably already have been to class number 1, or you probably already have your your workbook. Oh, yikes. But in case you haven't, maybe you want to take a look at what some of it'll look like. This right here would kind of be the first day's notes in the workbook. So we can see that they're just pretty standard, fill in the blank notes, but more like, I know this looks like a lot of work, but we're going to be doing most of this stuff together. So it kind of goes to, I do think notes are important in math, but I think when you just stand up and I write everything and I have to write all the words out, I know that students tend to maybe fall behind, or they get tired of writing, or they don't know how to structure their notes. All that stuff's kind of a hassle. So these are kind of what I consider to be stemmed notes, and like, here's what you're going to be, here's what I'm going to be writing, and so I do expect you to write it as well. So yes, then that's all this is. So I'm going to be filling out this exact paper in some way, shape, or form in the classroom. I'm not sure how that's going to be yet. But obviously, probably after day 1, I probably have a good idea. But I'm going to be filling out just this exact paper. I expect you to be doing the same, and this is in your first day's in your first day's notes. So the rest of that workbook is going to have the assignments, the applications, the all the other stuff that we're going to be dealing with. So when it comes to how you're graded in this class, you're really graded in 4 categories. And I want to talk about those categories right here. The first one being assignments. So we're going to be doing some of the assignments together, but probably not too many of them. We're probably not going to have that much time just to sit around and do homework together. So that'll be kind of expected for you to be completed outside of class. But students will be given workbooks with notes and assigned problems. So the notebook will kind of look how I just showed you. And in between those will be, you'll see assignment number 1, number 2, those things. So they're all numbered, and that's how you know that that's a graded homework. So I will expect that you do problems outside of class. Those homework assignments will be done outside of class, and instead of maybe collecting homework every day that we're in class, I'm just expecting that workbook stays intact, and you turn it in at the end of the course, and then I'll grade all your homeworks then. So they don't necessarily have due dates, but if I cover day one notes, then, and I know that assignments 1 and 2 apply to day 1, I would expect assignments 1 and 2 to be done prior to day 2. I think that makes sense, and I think that's doable. Now, if you fall behind, then you fall behind, really, but you do have time to get caught up, so use that time wisely. The next so you're graded on homework assignments. That's kind of number 1, and like I said, I'll talk about how you're graded on those in just a second. The application problems, or the application section. So if we look back at that workbook page, right here is application number 1. So there's some application problems in here, and I hate to say it, but application number 1 looks like a pretty tough application section. So I do kind of apologize for that, but I think it'll be interesting to see how we do on that one. So I think that's a really fun one, especially down here. I think that's a fun thing. But you can see already, like, we're mixing in some of these geometry ideas to help us out. And on the applications, I will be planning on posting some help videos. Maybe I don't really want to do the problems, but I could definitely get into kind of guiding you through the problems and how to get those done. Excuse me. Yeah. So I do think that I could help you out on those, but I definitely don't want to do the whole thing. Otherwise, it's kind of taking the fun away from you. So that being said, that's kind of what the application looks like, and you can again expect some videos on this YouTube channel in your playlist that will help out with that. So that's another section that we're graded on. The third one is the idea of these mastery challenges. And so here it says at the beginning of every class meeting, students will be given a five-question quiz that must be completed in class. Now, when I say it must be completed in class, I'm really talking at the most part. Well, in order to make it through this class, I'm going to be setting timers on mastery challenges. And I would say most of the time it's going to be like 10 minutes that you're going to get for your mastery challenge, because we got to get moving. We got, not only are we doing that, but we also have something new to learn that day. So, gosh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So I will want you to kind of be efficient with how you take those mastery challenges and not just kind of sit there, space off. You've got 5 questions, and the quicker we can get done with them, the more time we have on the other end, which I'll talk about what we can do with the other end of class. But you must complete those mastery challenges with 80% in order to be considered passing that mastery challenge. Okay? These are important because they're the one of 2 pieces that are actually graded as far as correctness goes. So students must pass it. Yeah, I'll talk about how to get the grades you want. So if you don't pass a mastery challenge, that's okay. I will say that one mastery challenge may be retaken per class meeting. So kind of that idea of you can retake things, but you can only retake one per class meeting in the work time that's available at the end of the period. If we end up, if I end up not being able to get through what I want to get through in class, you might not have a chance to retake a mastery challenge in that class meeting. So you want to make sure that you stick to the time limits. I know that I can teach all these topics in just a record-setting time if I had to, but I do want to give you that time at the end of the class period to retake these. But if that doesn't work out, then that doesn't work out. Okay, so but even if it does, you may only retake one mastery challenge per class meeting, and so you want to kind of plan ahead on how to pass the right number of mastery challenges. And then the pre and the post test. Big spoiler alert: I'm going to use the same test, so that ought to help you out a little bit. Now looking at how you're going to be graded, so you control your own grade in this class. I mentioned there were 16 homework assignments and kind of what those look like and when I expect them to be done, but I'm grading them at the end of the course. So let's focus on, let's say I wanted to get a B. Okay, I was a student that I really wanted a B out of this class. So the way I would do that is I would complete 12 or more homework assignments and 7 or more of the application pages, and pass 7 or more mastery challenges with 80% or higher. And then, let me reemphasize, and show improvement over my pretest, or just get a score that's greater than 80% on my post-test. Okay, so talking about that a little more in detail. Let's say I passed. I did 12 homework assignments. I passed. I was really good at mastery challenges. I was really good at tests. I did all 9 of the tests of the mastery challenges, and I showed improvement over my pre-test, but I only got I didn't really get those applications. You made me work really hard on problems, and I only passed 6 of those. Well, that 1 6, even though these other ones landed in this row, that application's being a 6, that's going to drag it down to a C. Okay, so you need to focus on these and pass 7 or more of those application pages, or however that might look. That's what you're going to be expected to do. Okay, so I think that's important. I think it's kind of a different grading idea. So we'll be talking about it as we go. I'm not just going to spring your grade on you at the end. I'll be kind of conferencing with each one of you as we make our way through the class. But yeah, I do want to help you. I do want you to be successful. I do want you to have fun, but I do want you to learn something also. So be ready for that. Let's see. I think we're good. I think that's all I've got. So we'll see you in class, and yeah, excited to see where we can go. Have a good day.